These are authentic.
Yeah, you have some statues of Caesars or gods, goddesses, the guys of the Romans of the city.
Wow. Authentic.
Authentic, yeah, not replica. You got
Hey, come on, really? I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Today they do concerts, by the way.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow.
Yeah, just watch out, guys. But just like to give a bit like a background of that such a controversial like character or personality of this man. Anyway, so he was Edomian, Nabatean, as you wish, as a religion like Jew, okay. So he doesn't belong to none of the tribes of Israel. We know that already. What else? His lifestyle is Greek, and politically he's affiliated to Rome, Roman. He had a really close relationship with the Caesars at that time. He sent his sons to be educated with the future Caesars of Rome, like Agrippas or Herods and all that. So it's very interesting. He was very Roman in his lifestyle, his mindset, and he had that ambition to build a new Rome in this country, that small tiny kingdom. He was a puppet king, like, all right, you got it. That he belongs to whatever, like the Caesar they tell him, he follows, right? He's what they cared about money, taxes. You just send us money, and you can do whatever you want with your people, with your kingdom. All right. So he had that kind of self-government, autonomy, if you want. So he had that dream, ambition, like to build like a big city. Jerusalem, it's kind of for him old-fashioned, very conservative, too much Jewish for him. We don't think, I just say that like he was a Jew, but he was secular, and the term of today, secular Jew. He had nothing. He built pagan temples more than he built synagogues, or he built the Temple Mount. We not rebuilt the Temple Mount. We'll talk about it. There is a reason why, but we keep that like later on. Granite, like this, like there. A granite, as you can see the map, there's two different kinds of stones. They come from like two different countries.
There's granite and there's marble.
Like marble that will come from Turkey or Greece. Marble, granite, or granite.
Well, that's good. I might have Bible questions.
I might have an answer.
Awesome.
But he's buried, he was a deacon, by the way, Christian deacon that was buried actually here, and he got his name. So which means like that would be most likely 4th, 5th century AD. And I will talk about that here by the Byzantine. It's very interesting because we see lots of places like building mainly churches from that time, like the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the Church of Bethlehem, Nativity, and all that Jeremy. So yeah, this is from the same period. Sarcophagus, which means in Greek flesh eater. Flesh eater, yeah. You have the, now you are actually the upper one. You're gonna see the lower one with the pool. Interesting. A magnificent like palace. And he kept that in mind. Roman governors that were sent later on.
Look at that. We're at Caesarea Maritime, and that's the old mosaic. This is some kind of a platform. And you see the marble up on the right-hand side and the harbor in the distance. We're inside the palace that King Herod built himself.
You have the king, governor, what's like a king.
Another sarcophagus.
He built temples. Over there, way up there, a temple of Augustus, and he built the steps like David to the people worshipping Caesar. Okay? So what's connected to the harbor? By the way, like people, the sailors, when they come from the west, from Rome, and all that, whatever, the first thing they come about to land here, in Caesarea, the first thing they would see from far away is the temple of Augustus, with the statues and everything and all that of him. So they feel at home. You know what I mean?
Caesarea Gate. Inside, look at the ceiling.
Is that water bottle original?
This is not. This is like maybe a Roman or something. Wow. How well, exactly.
How many people are stepped on these things?
It's amazing how this stuff just stays together.
Yeah. Layers and layers. Yeah.
It's hard to understand the building ability they have.
Why don't we build like this anymore? Even the architectural detail, we just don't build like that anymore.
Well, look at this old marble step that's so worn down.
Right.
Gosh. This is a moat that came around this area.
All the way around.
And they created this is a monastery here. They created actually, by the way, like some different monasteries under Mount Carmel, and they are called after Carmel, Carmelites.
Oop.
Look out for that.
I'm having the time of my life.
And this is just
Seriously.
like day one, full day,
It's-
non-travel day.
It is,
I'm telling you, like, it just builds. It's not necessarily tomorrow is better,
yeah.
but days 1 and 2, it just compounds. It's amazing.
To me, it's just like, it's been for me a lifelong dream to come to Israel. I've never been out of the continental United States.
rejection and judgment. You don't get one without the other. And I used to, so I'm a cop, and so I think about like turn signals. Use your turn signal, you don't get judgment. You don't use your turn signal, you get judgment, right? You get a ticket. So these mountains and valleys that represent the things with God on how things should have been. And as we drove up the mountains coming in here, just how lush this is, and that this is God's vineyard. This is what He intended. Caesarea Philippi, that was built by man. It's impressive what man can do, but that's not God's vineyard. This is God's vineyard. This is a place that He keeps calling people back to. Elijah went against the 450 prophets of Baal right here. Why was that? The Israelites rejected God, and they got judgment. 450 prophets died that day. Such a beautiful place for such a horrible tragedy. As we move into Revelation, what do we get? Revelation 14 says that for 200 miles, there is blood up to a horse's bridle. 200 miles? That's insane. It's the winepress of God's wrath. Why is that? Because over and over again, the nations keep rejecting God. This valley and this mountain, it's not where Satan is judged. Satan was judged at the cross. This is where the nations are judged. He literally brings them here to judge them and trample on them. So how does it apply to us? Well, Christians are not immune from rejecting God. We hear God's laws, we hear the things He wants us to do, and then we don't do it. Two things that God specifically told us. Luke chapter 9, verse 35, at Jesus' baptism, He said, "This is my Son, my chosen one. Listen to Him." To Mount Transfiguration, we hear it again. "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Listen to Him." Our job as Christians is to listen to Jesus' teachings and do them. And when we don't, when we reject those ideas, we get judged.
Yep.
So here's the question for all of us as we stand in this beautiful, wonderful place. Have we rejected God's teaching somewhere? It's easy to rub each other the wrong way now, especially that we're traveling with each other. You know? Are we giving grace to one another? Are we showing mercy to one another?
Yes.
As we're interacting with the different cultures here, are we doing it in a way that Jesus would want us to interact with them? Are we mad about the service at places, or are we showing them the grace of God?
Yes.
You know, the driver yesterday, man, I felt like I was in an IndyCar race. It was amazing. I loved it. But some people were getting sick. It's like, do we have grace for that? Or, you know, so as we sit here and as we contemplate these things, looking at this valley that represents judgment, this mount that represents God's judgment for rejecting Him, remember Jesus. That's all it comes down to. Remember Jesus and act like Him. Amen?
Amen.
All right.
Top of Mount Carmel. Lunch on Mount Carmel. Rice, beans, barley, pasta, fish, schnitzel. There's falafels in the back. Red cabbage, vegetables galore. Everything is fresh. Nothing is processed or canned or anything. Get all these vegetables. All these vegetables. Oh, so good. This is how women lose weight.